How did he die? They wouldn't tell us. All they know is that there was an interaction with the police, and as a result, he died.
Hey, welcome to News You Can Use. I'm your host, Brandon Gonez. On January 21st, 2022, 35-year-old Moses Erhirhie was shot and killed by York Regional Police, just north of Toronto. The details of what happened are extremely murky, and his family says they've been kept in the dark without any concrete answers of what led to Moses' death. The only thing they know is that there was a call to a plaza for a suspicious person. That's it. Now, before we get into those details, I do need you to do a few things, like subscribing to this channel, tapping that notification bell, and make sure to follow us across all of our social media. The details are in the description below. Moses Erhirhie's sister, Abby, describes her brother as a man who always had a joke to tell, loved life, and was always dancing. She says that York Regional Police never contacted her family to notify them that Moses was dead. In fact, they didn't learn of the news until the following day, and it was actually Ontario's police watchdog, the SIU, that broke the news to the family without even offering up a condolence. Abby is here to tell her story while looking for justice for her brother Moses. Let's bring her in. Abby, thank you so much for joining me on News You Can Use.
No problem.
I just want to start off by saying my condolences from our team to your family. I know this weekend in particular has been a little bit difficult.
Definitely.
But I want you to bring me back to January 21st.
Okay.
And what do you know happened between York Regional Police and your brother Moses?
So actually January 21st was the Friday that it happened. Mm-hmm. And I actually saw the news, and the first thing I thought when I saw SIU was like, oh, the police have messed up again. Mm-hmm. Not knowing it was my own family that they messed up with.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I had no idea it was my brother.
Yeah.
And then I got a call from his girlfriend saying that SIU had called her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, let me go and look at what SIU actually does. Because I was like, oh, it wasn't the police, so if it's SIU, maybe he just ghosted you, because he does that, right? So I'm like, maybe he just ghosted you. And then I saw there was a shooting, and I was like, oh my goodness. And then I saw the article with the white car, and I called her back, and I was like, is that your car? And she said, yes, it was. And around 10:30 on Saturday, I went over to my mom's house finally, because she said they were coming there. And when I got there, SIU was there, and there was another lady, she's an advocate, Evelyn. And very coldly, she said, Moses Erhirhie is deceased. And I'm like, how? How is he deceased? And I don't know what she said, because I started screaming my head off.
Yeah. And
then she said there was an interaction with York Police, and as a result, he's deceased. But they're like, okay, they're gonna come back another day. And then we just started like why? Why was what was the interaction? What happened? What happened? What happened? But no answer. How did he die? They wouldn't tell us. All they know is that there was an interaction with the police, and as a result, he died. Where did he die? That's what I was like, where did he die? When did this happen? And they were saying at Highway 7. He was transported to a hospital. I'm like, what hospital? They wouldn't tell me what hospital.
So you didn't even have the who, what,
Nothing.
where, when, why?
Nope. And then the next day, Sunday, she called and from SIU, and she said there's going to be an autopsy and that the coroner would call us. And then the coroner never called. And she also said that we could see the body the next day, which was Monday after 4 at the coroner's office. And then the coroner never called.
In the hours after learning this news, trying to grapple with the news, not having any type of answer or just clarification, like the basic form of clarification.
No basics.
Now you're met with resistance to even see
the body. The body was resistance. And still 4 days later, no call from the coroner. So we're still spinning around, what happened, trying to get more information online, because we're not getting anything from SIU. We finally had a call with the lead investigator, probably 5 days in, and we had so many questions by then, right? So who's the police officer? Why did he go to the plaza? How did you know who to approach, right, in the parking lot? How did you know who was the suspicious person? Where's the 911 call that called you in? Can we hear the call? How many officers were on,
you guys just wanted something.
Something to tell us. What do you mean by interaction? At least explain that word to us and how that interaction resulted in killing somebody. They called on Thursday, so 6 days after, and said that we could go and view the body at the coroner's office. for 15 minutes. So my sisters went with 2 of our family friends. I couldn't go in because just couldn't handle it. But they literally mummified the body. So they wrapped it in blankets. So you could not see the body at all. All you saw was like this portion of his face. That was it. And like his skull was like sunken in. It was very strange. So we had no idea still what happened to the body. And they would not remove the blankets so that my sister could see the actual body. And then of course they peppered them with questions again, like where was he shot? How was he shot? What was the interaction? Is the police officer still working? Who is the police officer?
You don't even know. You don't even know who they are.
They said that we should reach out to York PD ourselves and ask those questions. I called York PD, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what they said. Call them.
York Regional Police, yeah.
And of course they would not give me any comment. But then I asked them, sorry, do you wear body cams? And then they said no. And I said, okay, thank you. So I went back to SIU and I'm like, well, what video surveillance do you have? And they would not comment, but they do have video surveillance.
Okay, so they have some form of evidence that they can.
So they say.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any confidence in SIU. And I asked them to put themselves into my position. Imagine this happened to your family and you don't even know why the person was killed. How would you feel?
What did they say?
7 days after, like, how would you feel about that? And he was like, he didn't say anything.
Yeah.
The lead investigator did not say anything. He just sat there.
What has been the hardest part for you and your family during this ordeal?
Probably not like knowing why. Like, what was the interaction? Why was he shot? And I can tell you this, he was shot multiple times. So why? You killed somebody. You killed somebody's son. You killed somebody's brother. You killed somebody's uncle. And you don't even have the decency to call and say, you know what? Whether it was a mistake or it was intentional, we're sorry. And they refuse to say that they shot somebody. They keep on saying it's an interaction. That's the most painful part. You actually killed somebody. Say the words like you shot somebody. Say it.
What I would love to know, since this is becoming a very public story, is what was your brother like?
My brother was awesome. Honestly, and I don't know if you know my history. We had an older brother that also died.
I didn't know if you wanted to bring that up because I know this isn't the first time your family's had to deal with something like this.
But so we cherished this boy. He was still like our baby. Moses was still our baby because we really, really cherished him because he's the only brother we have left. He was funny, big time, very jovial, always like had a joke, always had a dance.
He's a dancer man.
He's a dancer man. He always had a dance, always busting a move. If you speak to anybody about Moses, he never gets angry. That's another thing that really pissed us off. Like if he saw the cops, he would have been like, fine.
Yeah.
And ask anybody, he's everybody's friend. No matter where you met Moses, he was everybody's friend. And that's why it's so painful because like you took somebody that was like a light to us and you snuffed out that light.
SIU, they now take over this investigation.
Yes.
Anytime there's an interaction for the public, people watching right now, there's an incident involving police where someone dies, SIU takes over. So I can tell you right now, you're not going to hear from anything from York Regional Police. They're going to continue to send you to SIU.
Yeah. And SIU is going to send me York Police. Like they don't know their procedure.
But sometimes these investigations can take a very long time.
Yes, they told us. Like up to 120 days. So I'm like, we're supposed to wait 120 days to get answers from you, right? And I feel like there's some details that they could have given us right off the bat so that we can form a story and we can have closure. And another thing why I don't trust them either is because if he had a weapon or if he was aggressive or anything like that, they would have wrote that right away and said this person was this and therefore our life was threatened, we felt endangered, and we killed him. So why can't they say those things?
Does it ever play in your mind that this potentially could be a cover-up of some sort?
Of course, I think it is a cover-up. I think it's a cover-up because all of a sudden they released a news statement on Thursday when they knew we were doing the vigil at 5 o'clock saying that they're looking for an SUV and they had an image of a ghost, that's what I'm gonna call it, if you saw the image, of a ghost, and do you know this individual? Reach out. How can we know this individual? It looks like a ghost. And why are you talking about a SUV now all of a sudden when you know who shot him? What does the SUV have to do with anything?
So these updates that they're giving to the media, they didn't even give to the family first.
Another update that really pissed me off, which is why we're sparring right now, is because we saw a news article saying that the witness that was in the car was charged with fire-related offenses. And then we saw another article saying that the witness was released 12 hours later with no charges. How is that possible? Somebody, obviously it's serious if you're charged with firearm-related offenses.
So one article said something and another article dispelled that. But York Regional Police haven't given you any confirmation on what is true or what's not.
And I said to SIU, how come this reporter has this information and you haven't given us an update yet?
Yeah.
Where did this come from? Why was that person released? Who is this witness? We would like to speak to this witness because that's the only person that was in the car. Even if there is one, is the witness real? Because how come they were released all of a sudden?
Have you spoken to your local city councilor or the mayor?
That's our next step. So next steps is to speak to the mayor of York and find out, what are you doing? Are you aware of how your region's policing and dealing with this case?
How's the rest of the family doing?
Everybody's a mess because it's a shock. Like the year just started.
Yeah.
We didn't expect this. I just saw my brother literally is at my house on Christmas Day.
Abby, please keep us posted on how everything goes.
So definitely, I will keep you up to date.
All right, and my condolences again.
Thank you so much.
Hey BG Squad, thanks so much for checking out our channel. And listen to this, we have more great content for you, like this video right here and this video right here. By the way, don't forget to subscribe to this channel right now and tap that notification bell.